I'm actually going to talk about branded content and how we're sort of dealing with that. But to get you there, I think I need to tell you quite a bit about how the agency's working and how the advertising agency business is evolving right now without turning that into too much of a dissertation. One of the things we're hearing about all the time these days is we're in the content business now. We used to be in the advertising business, whether we were promotion, direct, interactive, or traditional or whatever, brand advertising. And the studios were in the content business, and they made the content and left little openings in between, and we filled those slots, and everybody made money. The thing is that to my view, is that we're actually in a transitional time. We haven't gone whole hog into the content business. Our ad campaigns and our integrated programs, really, beyond just our ad campaigns, are very much content-driven now. However, they haven't gone all the way. You know, like the Geico Caveman didn't actually get to be a sitcom, not quite yet. But we are in this transitional period. And what's marking that is that this convergence, you know, this oft-hyped convergence we've all been hearing about since the 1990s is actually coming true. And it's coming to a head now, but it's also not just converging how the entertainment world works and how the telephone world works and how the television world works. It's converging agency services. And that's a great deal to do with our DNA at DraftFCB. And the big difference between Hollywood, I'll just use Hollywood as a catch-all for basically the content business, and the advertising business, is that we rely on persuasion. They don't need to persuade you to feel emotionally connected to their movie. We need to persuade people to buy our clients' products. So what's this persuasive content? That's what we're making, persuasive content. Well, first and foremost, unlike the traditional way of looking at advertising, which is interruptive and only persuasive, we need to make content, persuasive content, that's worth the viewer's time. We have to make it worth their time, not only worth their time to sit there and watch it, or even better, come online and ask for it and type in an address and get it. But it really needs to be worth sharing with others. I mean, this may seem fairly straightforward to a lot of people in this audience, but it's still worth saying. I mean, that's really what's happening, and I can't tell you how many meetings I've been in, and I'm sure many of you have been in, which is we've heard, oh, we need something viral. Go make something viral. Well, really, it's not about what term we use or what buzzwords we use right now, but it's really about making it worth the audience's while and make them want to share it. We talk, therefore, about lean forward and lean back experiences. What are we actually making? We're asking the consumer to lean forward in their chair into the screen and interact with the content. Lean back kind of experiences are typically old television, right? You sit down, you lean back. But I like to talk about a notion that dimensionalizes that a little bit better. I call that depth on demand. And the best way to think about that, especially for people of a certain age group, is to think about the way a DVD movie works. Because DVD movies, of course, are fast disappearing. But so for the meantime, we can still talk about how DVD movies work, which is that it offers you really an interactive experience, if you think about it, but based on depth on demand. So first and foremost, the vast majority of people are going to simply, oh, I have a sofa, are simply going to sit down on their sofa, put the disc in the tray, close the door, hit the button, sit back, and watch the program. And that's the least interactive, right? That's perfectly superficial experience, perfectly wonderful emotional experience, but in terms of interactivity, not very deep. The first level might be that they might turn on the commentaries. It's the first level of interaction. The next level might be, oh, wait a minute, I only want to see certain scenes. The next level deep would be, hey, I'm going to rearrange the whole movie, or I'm going to go into choose my own camera angles. And the next most deep level is, wait a minute, you know what, I'm going to make my own version of this movie, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. The important thing is that we create now content that includes all the degrees of depth, so that what the consumer gets is the depth on demand without even thinking about it. So there's a convergence going on. and it's kind of all around us, and it's really disrupting the way agencies are structured, but in a good way. This is, just a recap of what we traditionally have been. The general advertising agency makes commercials, print and outdoor, billboards. The direct response agency makes DRTV, direct mail, email, and print. Promotions marketing agency would make point of sale in the stores, retail programs, sweepstakes and contests, and retail events, and street teams, and that kind of experiential stuff. And in the interactive world, there's a lot of discussion about this, but we can sort of boil it down to sort of 4 big categories. We make sites, microsites, macrosites, huge sites, small sites. We make display advertising, banners. They can be rich media, they can have video, they can be flash. We make email, and we make search. But what's happening is that these 4 big categories of what we do are all coming together, and you'll see this across the board. At DraftFCB, we're the first large multinational agency, as you heard in the introduction, to finally combine all of these services into one P&L. And it's having a big impact and a big difference in the campaigns and the programs that we make. And as a result of that, what we're seeing is that persuasive content, this new kind of persuasive content, is largely, regardless of the traditional discipline, agency discipline it came from, marketing programs came from, are moving into the interactive space. A good way to look at this is just go to the major advertising award shows, the website. Go to the Cannes Lion website. And what you'll see is that the promo lions, the Lions Direct, the advertising lions, and the cyber lions, there really hasn't been a great advertising program that you could probably think of, or a great promotions marketing program that you could think of, or a great direct marketing program that you could think of that didn't have a very strong interactive component, or was itself launched in the interactive space. Hollywood, actually, in the way they market their movies, is far, far ahead of the rest of us in packaged goods or automotive or the other advertising categories in utilizing the interactive space. So what must we do? Our task in the advertising side of things and how we approach basically creating branded content, or what I'd like to call this persuasive content, is we need to embrace the brand narrative, and we need to embrace this notion of sustainable discovery. First and foremost, in the interactive space, we always talked about, let's create the user experience. And it's no longer just going to be the user experience. In the traditional advertising space, all we really cared about in terms of the brand narrative is kind of, well, what's the campaign have to say? And importantly, we always boiled it down to saying one thing and then putting it everywhere, right? So our TV spots, some people call this matching luggage, okay? So our TV spots and our direct mail package and our billboards when you're driving down the highway, and when you walk into a store, there might be a shelf dangler. The front of our package all have exactly the same message, and we're just plastering it everywhere. But in the interactive space, it's not just one message. It's really a brand story. Every brand has a story to tell. I'm going to show you an example with Shout Wipes, which is just a little wipe, to wipe the stains off your clothes, and how the message that the efficacy of this product can actually be turned into a brand story. Now, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up still having to say the same kind of benefits at all of those different kinds of moments or touch points based on where the consumer happens to be, in front of a television screen, in a movie theater, using their phone, walking down an aisle at a Kmart. But it's no longer just the matching luggage version of that message. It's different dimensions of telling that story. And in that light, we need to make sure that at every new point of discovery, we're sustaining the story, but we're also sustaining the consumer's interest. We're asking her, I always use her, for her time and attention. That's a lot to ask. We're no longer just interrupting the program, which, by the way, you've seen if people have seen the statistics on DVR usage, is really going the way of the dodo itself. I just got the AT&T Uverse IPTV service at home, and I realized that my remote has a 30-second jump switch on it. So actually, when I'm blasting through commercials now, it very evenly just parses them out on my behalf. Look for that in the future. Whoops, look for that now. So in fact, we owe her content, new persuasive content, but new content over time at these various touch points. And what's new to the advertising world in general is that that's what the studios have always done, right? You know, when there's going to be a new season, you always know that there's going to be new twists in the programming in new seasons, and that the sequels to movies are always going to get better and better, even though less and less popular, we hope. But advertising has never really thought that way before. So the first thing I'm going to show you is Save the Pants. Technically speaking, this was a viral video. It won some awards. This is for S.C. Johnson. It was part of a greater program. We shot this. We concepted this and shot this specifically to distribute online. It's 2 minutes and 14 seconds long. It cannot be cut down to 30 or 60 seconds to be used as a regular commercial. And hopefully this works.
Hey! Get it! Go, 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 go! Faster! Take a shot! Shoot! Miss it! It's getting away! Ah! You got it! You got it! Bullseye! Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Nice shot! That was awesome!
Oh, yeah, these are going over the fireplace.
Who's that?
Here?
What?
No skating! Get out of here!
Come on, leave him! Leave him! We'll get another one. Let's go! Come on, come on!
This is so frustrating. I mean, don't they see the signs? It's so unfair. They're helpless.
Everyone, just calm down. It's okay. I've seen this before. I know what to do.
Give it some room. It's beautiful.
All right, thank you. A commercial break, by the way. You'll notice that you can text 75308 to keyword Miguel. Thank you, Brian, who's in the audience here, from 1630. That'll give you a link to subscribe to my Twitter feed. The next thing I want to share with you is a piece of work. That was a commercial break. The next thing I want to share with you is a piece of work from several years ago. My colleague Chris Miller is up in the audience, too. He and I worked on this together at Leah Burnett, in which case we were working for the U.S. Army and creating the An Army of One campaign. A member of the team had a wonderful insight about basic training. So we created a reality show in which we took 6 real recruits from the time they signed up all the way through basic training. We advertised it on TV and print and in arcades and all kinds of places. But the webisodes happened only online at goarmy.com. Whoops, hold on.
I think basic training is going to be a lot of hard work. I'm nervous and excited at the same time. I think boxing is gonna help me a lot. I've been training real hard. I've been running every day. It's gonna be hard. I mean, I know I'm gonna have to give 100% all the time, but I think I'm ready to do it. I'm gonna be able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to do before. I'm joining the Army.
Morgan, only at GoArmy.com.
Now, the thing about basic training is that in my mind, it's the first, and I believe it was right here, Chicago, the first integrated campaign to use webisodes and to really use the terminology of webisodes, because that was produced in the winter and spring of 2001. It actually went on to be picked up by the History Channel and became a 13-week series of half-hour episodes, and was very, very effective. We got 75,000 and something recruits into boots that year. This one I'm not going to show you video, but Element 79 is the agency that created this. It's called No Laugh, which is for Tostitos chips, and it's a hilarious comedy site, and the production company here is called Mechanism, and it brings to mind, they're from San Francisco, but here in Chicago we have Foundation. There's a member of that group in the audience today, and others who represent this new sort of hybrid of interactive production companies who can create this sort of webisode content with us. And the last example I'm going to bring up is something that we just completed on DraftFCB, which is this Kmart Show Your Style, which is we created a YouTube channel for user-generated content. The cool surprise about this one is we're reaching young adults, teens, and college age with Kmart, which we're still working very hard to uplift their image in this audience. And we did a submit your own video and get in the commercial, show us your style contest. We're in the middle of having, literally dozens of these out in the internet right now, all over the place. But ours got 500,000 channel views and lots of submissions. And you'll notice that on September 19th, you can see who won. So to wrap up, what this brings to mind is that we're in the advertising business in agencies thinking of campaigns and programs, and what we really want to be thinking about is content archetypes. We're in the business of making persuasive content now, not just campaigns and programs. And if we take a good look at the kinds of webisode content, viral video content, viral website content, user-generated content, structures that we're using, they all conform to the same kinds of content archetypes that the entertainment business uses, whether in scripted form, dramas and sitcoms and sketches, or spoofs, in unscripted reality shows like U.S. Army's Basic Training, makeover kinds of shows, contest shows, variety shows, gaming shows, that would include sports and music, news documentary, well, I've got some examples next, and user-generated, which are the Numa. Does everybody know what Numa is? It's a wonderful subgenre in the viral space based on the kid who sings along to, it's anybody on their webcam singing along. It's a wonderful subgenre. Response videos and those kind of oddity videos that you see all the time. So here's some examples, and everybody go use Google and find these things and get the links. But for scripted content, right now for Hewlett-Packard, there's a wonderful site up called Crash Course with Shaun White. And largely, it's just all these little quick-hit webisodes. For unscripted, the Dove campaign for Real Beauty, which was created here in Chicago by my friends at Ogilvy. And the cool thing about the Dove campaign is that for the large part, the content that's being created there is unscripted. But I don't know if people remember, it was about five years ago, they created a series of webisodes that were directed by Penny Marshall, starring Felicity Huffman. So it's gone both ways. And Office Max, another Chicago agency, Vinnie Warren's shop called Escape Pod, has just launched right now, you can still see it, this Penny Pranks campaign, which is basically they went out and pranked a bunch of restaurants and other shops to try to pay with pennies. It's a great way of turning that kind of reality TV into great advertising. In the variety and gaming category, McDonald's is right now running, or just did finish, a alternative reality game, this matrix of websites that it's like jumping down a rabbit hole called The Lost Ring. In the news documentary area, Liberty Mutual just launched the Responsibility Project. It's a very interesting thing. It's fundamentally a blog, but it's all about personal responsibility and responsibility in your life. Holiday Inn Express is right now running a kind of documentary show called The Smart Show, where they're taking a nationwide tour. There's a current webisode's up as an interview with Pete Carroll at USC. It's kind of fun. In the user-generated space, DiGiorno just ran a really kind of cool program called The Ditcher for DiGiorno for One. It activates entirely on MySpace, where basically you come up with an excuse, tap it into MySpace, and it pings your phone. So if you're in a meeting or you're out to dinner with somebody, you get this, your phone buzzes and it tells you, it gives you your own excuse for why you've got to excuse yourself so you can go home and have DiGiorno for one. Brilliant use of technology and storytelling. What they did was they overlaid a promotion on that where you write your own. You write the best excuse and you win a prize, win a big prize. And then finally, Scion has this new Scion United site. And as you know, Scion is all about pimping out the car. In this case, they're creating a real community around that with very rich video. So basically, one brand story, many platforms is the way to look at it now. Sustainable discovery, persuasive content in a single brand story, and the number of touch points or moments that we can actually reach consumers is proliferating. So instead of organizing those along the structures of traditionally the way agencies were organized, we're looking at it from a much more holistic, consumer-focused point of view. Thank you very much.